B-boy. From the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East Coast to the West, B-boys worldwide. We supposed to be blessed, still a B-boy.
This week, we're heading to Compton to talk about an MC who took the reins for a new generation of Compton rappers. With Dr. Dre behind him, this man would blend conscious lyrics, vivid storytelling, and a more modern style. But he always repped a CPT, even as the headliner at the Super Bowl. So this week, top 10 Kendrick Lamar songs. Joining me, as always, Raven's in the house. We got Brad, we got Ben. Same cast as last week. So let us go. And I will start us off at number 10 from the year 2015. This is my one cheat. I went into this already thinking I'd have multiple cheats. I only cheated one. And this is off the Dr. Dre Compton album and the song Gone. This is a very underwhelming album. But this song I always really liked, and Kendrick Lamar is on it. I just like the vibe, the hook, the mood. And they both bring it, Dre and Kendrick. And there's a piano in it, and it builds throughout Kendrick's verse. And I don't know, I just really like that song. The album, but there's one or two songs that I really like on it, and Gone is one of them. So it made it in at 10. Brad, you are up at 10.
All right. So I think I don't know exactly what year this came out. It was a single before the release of I don't know, that album that neither one of us like, Raven, that we can't remember the name
The
of.
two-stepper
Uh,
fancy pants?
the Two
Yep.
Stepper Fancy Pants album was my least favorite. But this single, and apparently it was a bonus track on it, it's called, there's a series of the Heart songs, and this one is specifically the Heart Part 5. It's pretty cool. Like, I think it kind of talks a little bit about hip hop culture, how how he was raised, and then it kind of like it takes a like break in the middle, and it's like him and he's dead, and he's talking about like make sure to your my family does this and that. I don't know. It was just a really cool way that he laid out the song, but it was also really pleasing to the ear with the little. I like the bass and the drum, and there was a little guitar in there as well too. I feel like with Kendrick, there are multiple levels of understanding Kendrick. And I'm going to say right off the bat, like, I don't understand Kendrick at like the level like where I can, say, oh, this is what he's talking about. But I know it. And like there's Reddit, even about this song, there's like a huge Reddit of like what people think about the song. So you can kind of get into it and be like, yeah, that just sounds really pleasant to the ear. You can tell he's really passionate about it, and you can tell there's some cool stuff in the song. And there's probably a lot more to it that I don't know. That Heart series is pretty cool. Like the Part 6 one is really cool as well too, because it talks about like Top Dog Entertainment and the guys that he rapped with on that. And so I think all those songs are really cool the way he puts them together. And they're not, I don't think they're all like related as far as like time wise, but they're all about things that I think are really close to his heart. That would be what I think. And anyways, it made my top 10. It knocked out a song I have to mention for an honorable mention that I thought for sure was going to be in my top 10, but that didn't make it. So we'll talk about that later.
He does have deep layers because I would listen to a song a couple times and then you could see, oh, this is he's like I don't know, a vivid storyteller, but really deep lyrics, or lyrics where different people could interpret them different. Maybe that's a better way to explain it. But Raven, number 10.
Yeah, man, Kendrick is so multi-layered. Every song has some sort of purpose to it. You know what I mean? Especially like in the GNX, when that whole album, every song has a different layer with a different purpose if you listen to that shit like 50 times. I mean, he's the only rapper that's ever won a Pulitzer. And it was for Damn, which that's where I'm gonna start. Number 10. I'm gonna go with like no matter how layered he is, when Kendrick gets really simplistic, I fucking love his shit. I went with Humble because it's a super simple beat, but it's hard. I've loved that fucking beat from the moment that single came out. It's catchy and just, yeah, Humble. I was like, damn, I have a lot of love and hate. There's like half that album, I'm like, this shit's kind of genius. The other half, I'm like, why'd you pick these fucking beats, bro?
All right, Ben, number 10.
First off, I'm kind of new to the Kendrick thing, so I think in a week this would totally be different. But trying to mash it all in a few days, and like like we talked, I was never that big on him, but He's got some dope shit actually. So for 10, I went to Pimp a Butterfly with King Kunta. It was very funky, dope bass line, a nice tip of the hat to James Brown. Yeah, so that one stuck out to me at 10.
That was such a feel-good song. Like you,
Yeah.
I was singing that, the last couple days. It was stuck in my head. So it might get brought up again, but not yet. Number nine, a song before I started, I could name five Kendrick songs, and this was one of them. And I said, it's not making my list. I'm making sure it doesn't go on my list. Everyone else will have it. But I kept listening to it and appreciating it. And that is the 2024 single, Not Like Us. It's just, even a year later after it dropped, it's so iconic. And what really gets me is this is a straight diss track, right? It's not subliminal. It's a straight diss track, but it blew up on the radio. It won a Grammy. It was performed at the Super Bowl. Can you imagine like Tupac doing Hit 'Em Up at the Super Bowl or No Vaseline
No
or something like that?
Vaseline.
Yeah, can you
Well,
imagine? That's so crazy
disrespectful.
that a diss track could win Grammys and be performed at the Super Bowl seems impossible. And there's so many witty lyrics. And I gotta point out the cover for the single, which I hadn't seen until I did this, is the Google Maps view of Drake's house, but it's got the pedophile logo on it, like he's a registered sex
Oh
offender.
God.
That shit is
That shit's hilarious.
it's so funny. I
What
mean, he just destroys Drake, so it had to make the list.
what is their beef about? Like I never cared enough to
So
Yeah,
like the breakdown of this, the way it started, Kendrick and J. Cole and Drake were on a song together, and one of them talked about being the big three, like nobody can rap better than me. And Kendrick was like, came out with a song on Metro Boomin's feature on the next like week, and it was like, motherfuck the big three, it's just big me. And that started it. That's kind of the spark.
Well, actually, it started
Oh,
in 2013 with the song Control.
I
That's
forgot. Big Sean was in that, right?
that was so
Yeah.
it was a Big Sean single. It was supposed to be on his second album, and Kendrick. So okay, so I'm gonna say this now. This song was supposed to make my list. It was actually a single that was released. It was played on the radio, and it was supposed to be on Big Sean's second album. And Kendrick's verse on that song is so fucking awesome.
He murdered that shit.
Murdered it, and it was like everybody was started talking about Kendrick. But what he said was he was like he said something like all these guys like Jay Electron, Drake, Big
Oh
Sean, those
yeah.
are all my friends, but I'm trying to murder y'all on every track. And Drake took umbrage to that, and that kind of started a beef that had been going on over 10 years, which then go to Raven's story. Yeah, that was like the spark that lit that shit on fire, and then it was like diss tracks back and forth. But they'd been kind of beefing since that Control song.
I totally forgot about Control, and that's why it's not on my list. They should have made my list because Kendrick's verse is the only one that you need to listen to in that song. But
Yeah, and that song is one of the that I mean, obviously the Dre co-sign and he had some singles, but that song like literally propelled him. Like people were like, "Holy shit, he fucking murdered that." So I'm glad we got to talk about it anyways. It was on my list and then it fell
is it
off.
a friendly beef? Like
it
no,
doesn't
they get
sound
No,
along
friendly
together?
no,
anymore, at least.
no. Kendrick,
no.
because Kendrick went super personal during this.
Yeah, yeah.
Meet the Grams didn't make my list, but it's a ridiculous story where he's like apologizing to Aubrey's parents and then Aubrey's dad for being a piece of shit. Like, just it's kind of funny. But
When
he went super personal and disrespectful.
yeah, when that I don't know if you guys obviously weren't listening to Kendrick when that was going on, but I actually was listening to those back and forth diss.
Same
It
every
was like
day.
everybody was talking about it too. I was like, hey, like all my friends that listen to hip hop, and there's not many, but they were like, oh, did you hear this new diss song? Did you hear his response? You know, did you see Drake's stupid video with Tupac? And you know, it was cool. It was fun.
And then Kendrick dropped two back to back, and it kind of ended it.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he still did not like us after that.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Well, I'm glad it was brought up because I didn't know the start of it either. I had no idea. And I remember it was fucking huge, that Kendrick Drake beef when it popped off a year or two ago, like when it really got hot. But I never cared about either. I mean, I care about Drake even less than I cared about Kendrick Lamar. So,
There's like
um,
24
That's where
total
I was at.
songs spanning between them and J. Cole and Rick Ross, that kind of go back and forth with each other. If you ever want to listen to the whole fucking playlist, it's long as shit, but it gives you every song in one.
mhm. We'll rein it back in. We're still at 9. We are at Brad.
All right. So I'm gonna pull out some this from my record collection. I bought this when it came out. This is the signed copy of Damn. I gotta agree with Raven, and I'm always glad when you say things and I'm like, okay, I like totally agree with that. Like, yeah, Kendrick is very multi-layered, and I often, because I'm so busy, I don't have time to like sit and like figure out all the things that are going on and listen to the lyrics and appreciate it that way. Sometimes I just want to appreciate a really good, catchy song. And that was always my beef with Kendrick. There'd be like two or three of those, but there was never a full album actually until GNX. But Humble off Damn. Simple,
Oh yeah.
catchy, dope. Totally agree. 100%. You said what I was thinking. And I was a little like, kind of like, oh, I'm kind of scared to say that I like the Kendrick, like, kind of radio stuff a little bit better because I don't have time to dig deep into most of it. But totally agree with you.
Well, since let's talk about twice, we'll go right to Raven at number 9.
Number nine. I went to GNX for the first time and I went with TV Off with Lefty Gunplay. It just has this really dope, like swelling. I don't know if they're horns or what, but it's a very orchestral chopped beat. And then halfway through, the beat drops. He screams mustard for like 30 seconds, and then the beat changes. And that is the best part of the song, is when that beat changes and Kendrick kind of goes off. It's another like halfway super mainstream sounding Kendrick, but that whole album has that feel. It's very West Coast, and he's just kind of celebrating his win coming off the Drake beef with this album.
And, we talked about his lyrics being multi-layered. Even like the musically, a lot of that, it switches up, but
He'll have chants and shit going on in
yeah,
some
it
of it, like
just, eh.
Italian chants out of nowhere. But it was a big deal when he dropped Not Like Us and TV Off because Mustard did the beat, and Mustard did a lot of Drake production.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and Mustard was like, I had no idea he was going to do this. I had no idea he was going to be doing this against Drake or at the Super Bowl, but it blew him up too. So
I
He,
love DJ Mustard. I've told you, I said about this guy did YG's album My Crazy Life, which is a fucking incredible album. It's old school West Coast. I've always been a fan of DJ Mustard, and when Kendrick started using him, that's part of the reason why I love the DNX album because there's like three songs by Mustard on there, and I think I missed it because I had to feed the dog. But did you pick TV off? Is that the one that you?
yeah, yeah.
Great song.
all right, we're still on 9. Ben.
9. I went with Charmaine, aka Master Splinter's daughter. Great storytelling. The dude was out for some pussy. Got set up is kind of how I took it, and I wrote in the notes, "Watch out for pussy."
Good advice.
Very
I
good
mean,
advice.
Always.
like it was kind of weird because at the end, like when he gets there, and then the dudes are there, then he gets the phone call. So that's how I took the song. Is like she set him up.
All right, number 8. And I'm going to 2017, and I'm going to the Damn album, but I'm going to the song DNA. This song to me was very, very catchy, especially the hook. Like that. I'm DNA, and I was another one I was going around talking about all or singing in my head all day. The breakdown halfway through it is weird, but also kind of amazing in some way. It's kind of just musical madness. And as the beat does all these crazy things, Kendrick just keeps rapping over it like it had never changed. Just a unique beat. It was made by Mike Will, made it, not Mike Will made it. Mike Will made it. I guess I didn't need to explain it like that. DNA number 8, you're up, Brad.
All right. I had to have one cheat. I always have at least one cheat. And I really love this song. This is also like a super rare vinyl, but this was a huge song for Tech Nine, maybe his most popular song. I don't know. But it was all over the radio back in whenever it came out, 2013, 2014. Fragile with Kendrick, about how critics of their music hurt them. So, hey, look, I'm not being critical. I'm saying you guys are awesome. This song fucking rules. And seeing it's kind of cool. Like, I was kind of thinking today, because I was listening to my list on the run, and I was like, Kendrick has all like, he's got MC8 on his first album, is produced by Dre, and then you can kind of like walk that shit back to all the cool gangster rappers. And then you're like, oh, well, then he also has a song with Tech Nine, and you can kind of like, you know, bring it to Detroit and horror rap, which I was really into with ICP and Prozac and all these other people. So, you can kind of walk that line back, and it's cool that Kendrick has a song with Tech Nine.
And that is a good song. I've always liked that song. And I think that's the first time any of us have brought up Prozac. I love that. Underrated. I love Prozac's music.
Yellow Wolf was originally supposed to be on Fragile, but he wasn't feeling it, so we backed out, and then it blew up with Kendrick, and then Yellow Wolf was like, "Fuck, why not?"
Way
Right?
better. Kendrick having, I mean, Yellow Wolf was really big back then, and I really liked Yellow Wolf back then, but that dude, he disappeared. I mean, he's around, but he's not really around.
I think we're still on 8. We on Raven?
Hey, I got realness. I just
Uh,
kill shit because it's in my DNA. I love the simple scattered flow and the simple ass beat that goes all over the place. Just another hard example of how Kendrick can kill really simplistic shit, especially on Damn.
and you know what that chorus is?
Hmm,
Simple but effective.
that's very true.
You haven't heard that in a couple show episodes. Ben, what's your number 8?
Good Kid, Mad City, Money Trees. It was a very smooth beat, very smooth flow, and then I wrote even when he goes, "Ya bish," is smooth. That's
Yeah, that's I
yeah,
I mean he's saying bish, right? Does that mean something different than
Yabish.
is he saying that's supposed to mean like I don't
I think
know.
it's just a cool way to say bitch, is what
Is
Yeah, it's
that
just
that's what I
bitch.
thought, but I
It's just
didn't.
abbreviated bitch.
Okay. I didn't know if it was some new slang that I wasn't up on, because that would
So like,
be
yeah, I thought it was a
awesome.
smooth way of saying bitch.
That was my
Bish.
Yeah.
guess. That was my guess, but I wasn't 100% sure. Well, that's a good album. We'll go right into number 7. I'm going to go to that album for the first time. Good Kid, Mad City, easily my favorite one from him. And I'm going with The Art of Peer Pressure. The storytelling on this is just next level, and I love great stories. And it goes into detail about, getting in trouble with the homies, where if he was by himself, he wouldn't be doing this shit, but he's with the homies. So, you go a step farther, you do things maybe you shouldn't. The beat sets the mood perfectly for this. It was done by someone named Taboo. It just paints such a vivid picture, an amazing picture. Like, man, I pictured like a hood movie with this playing out. And it's true, right? You're braver and you do dumber shit if you're with the homies. I don't know. That one always kind of made me smile. So the art of peer pressure is my number 7. You are up, Brad.
I went with King Kunta off To Pimp a Butterfly. Again, simple. I now need to dive into this album and listen to it more. I dismissed it a little bit when it came out, but I always liked that single off of it. I really wanted to pick something off of it, and I mean, we already talked about it. It's a great, catchy song.
All right, number 7 for you, Raven.
Number 7. Before I say my number 7, I want to talk about a song that originally was my number 7 that I got bumped completely down to number 11. It was going to be my one cheat. It was called Family Ties, and it's got his little cousin, Baby Keem. It's from Baby Keem's debut album, The Melodic Blue from 2021, and it's a really good song with a really dope beat. I know nobody's going to talk about Baby Keem, so I wanted to bring him up. But my number 7 was from the Black Panther soundtrack, which was riddled with Kendrick stuff. Is Pray for Me with The Weeknd. Surprised myself that it made, but I love that beat and the flow, and Kendrick's verse is really fucking good. That soundtrack is really fucking good, and it made me love Black Panther because the music was fucking really good.
All right, you're number 7, Ben.
Mine went to the Gen X record with Squabble Up. Just great beat, old school flow. I dig that shit.
That is the first honorable mention that was brought up, and that was on my list until a couple days ago. That was at number 10, 9, 10. And we can't bring it up without talking about the video where he, you know, redoes Darlene from the Power album. I mean, that shit was so dope. And that's why I was like, it's got to make my list. It's got to make my list. But
I
obviously didn't.
remember Ice-T posted the like, hey, Kendrick's showing love, and then
Yeah. Well, and one thing I liked is he's more the newer generation, in parentheses, but he had MC8 on a track. He's paying homage to a 1988 gangster rap album. So he's always, showing love to, those who came before him. We are to 6. And yeah, for the first time, I'm going to 2024's GNX. I agree. This album was fucking awesome. Easily my second favorite from him. I was really impressed. And I'm going with the song Reincarnated. Now, others have done this topic before. Actually, I did a song with Chino XL that was this exact topic. Not saying that Kendrick is biting me, but it's possible. But he does it perfectly, right? He's going into his past lives in vivid details. Then he goes to the current timeline where he's Kendrick Lamar, and then it goes beyond that. And then it can get deep. I mean, is it God and the devil? And it's a really deep story. It's just next level writing and storytelling. Very few people can write stories this deep on this level, and it's impressive as hell. And I bet if I listen to that song 10 times more, I'll catch other stuff. But then you get the sample from the Tupac Real Brothers beat, and it's used so well and it's so hard. And even how he's spitting is just like he's attacking the beat with that flow. It's just like, God damn, this is so good. And it was at like number 3 and it kept sliding, but everything about this song is just amazing. So, Reincarnated, my number 6. You are up, Brad.
Yeah, it's Made Brothers, but yes,
What did I say?
real.
Oh,
Real brothers.
I meant man.
Yeah, I really am really shocked. I didn't think anyone else would pick this song, but off the Black Panther soundtrack, Pray for Me with
Oh
Kendrick.
yeah.
I love The Weeknd. I'm a huge Weeknd fan, so I went into this knowing I was going to pick a Kendrick and The Weeknd song, and I thought I would pick the collaboration they did off the Starboy album, which is also really good. But then I had never listened to the Black Panther soundtrack, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is great!" There's other good songs off there, but that song with The Weeknd, which I think was like the third single, which actually didn't do as well as some of the other singles off that album, but it's a really great song.
Okay, 6 for you, Raven.
I went to GNX with Squabble Up. I love the beat. It's simple and it has a dope sample. My store where I work plays the original silly ass song, but I just rap Squabble Up over the beat of that every day when it comes on. It's meant to be the exact opposite of the Not Like Us video, which is why it gave him the sample of Squabble Up at the beginning of the Not Like Us video. So he looks really bored and angry and just sits there half rapping and not like us, whereas he's active and more animated and he has like the power homages and things like that going on in the Squabble Up video. So the video is really fun for that. And yeah, GNX was probably my favorite album that came out last year. I played it more and more and more, and I came to appreciate almost every song on that album more than any other song on any of his like and as a whole project.
Yeah, that GNX album is amazing.
And he's supposedly has 14 songs that got cut from it. He was going to release GNX 2, but it still hasn't come out. So
Hmm. All right, you're number 6.
I went to Good Kid, Mad City with the song Mad City. Great flow, great gangsta beat, and then fucking MC8. So
Yeah.
how can you go wrong?
Well, that'll bring us to the halfway mark. My number 5, first time I'm going to 2015's The Pimp a Butterfly. And everyone else is bringing it up. King Kunta. Holy motherfucking earworm. I could not get this out of my head. I was fucking walking around work singing this hook. It's just, like we said, it's funky and Kendrick flows over it perfectly. It's just sticks in your head. It's a banger. Great video too. He's just rolling through Compton. You just show like the welcome to Compton sign and just your typical hood video, but man, it's just a fun song. Everything else has been said about it, but it's my number five. You are up, Brad.
This is what has also already been spoke about, but I'll give a personal experience with this song. So after Kendrick did the Super Bowl and he released GNX, which was like a surprise album, my wife came home one day and she's like, "Hey, have you heard the new Kendrick album?" And I was like, "No." I was like, I tried to like Kendrick a few years ago and just like it was just I liked a few singles, but I just never could get into it." She's like, "I don't know. Well, my coworker said this song Reincarnated is really good." And she played it and I was like, "Oh, what the fuck is this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." And so then we're doing this, and I'm legit. I'm gonna work through it, and I put in GNX, and I heard the first song, and I was like, "Oof, that's fucking awesome." And I'm listening through, and I'm like, "Ooh, this reincarnated song is dope." So I start listening to Kendrick, and my wife's like, "What are you doing listening to Kendrick?" I'm like, "Oh, we're doing a hip hop podcast about it." And she's like, and Reincarnated was on. I was like, "Oh, this is a really good song." She's, "That's really funny because like I played this for you a year ago and you fucking hated it." And I was like, "I'll admit I was fucking wrong." Like, and that happens to me sometimes. Like if I get something in my head that I just like, I'm not gonna like something, I close my mind to it. But then if I listen to another context and I'm like, oh, that actually is really, really cool. First of all, the Tupac beat that we already talked about. And then he's like John Lee Hooker and Billie Holiday. And then it's like him with the devil and God and all throughout the song. And it's a phenomenal song. And interestingly, Pitchfork, which I hate that fucking publication, said that was the worst song on GNX. And so they're like, they don't like it. I always like it. So I should have known.
I think songs like this, I think, go over people's heads sometimes too, and that's why they're not always appreciated. Um, Such a good song.
But
Number
then
five.
saying like
Yeah,
what Brad was saying, like sometimes like when sh it's how shit gets presented to you. Like if you're in a mood or if you listen to it in the
it's
car
true.
or at work or like you got something else on your mind and then you like find it later like oh shit it was
Oh,
us.
how did I miss it? How did I miss it?
Yeah. So I know exactly what you're saying, Brad.
Raven Hunter, number five.
Number five, I went back to the Black Panther soundtrack, and I went with All the Stars with SZA. I love the beat and vibe of this, and I really love her hook. He has probably five or six songs with her total, and I like most of them. Like they work really fucking well together. He brought her out during the Super Bowl. I liked that he tried to include every one of his homies in his performance and bring them all out during the parts. And it was another fuck you to Drake too, because at one point him and Drake could have probably been there together. But you know what I'm saying? That was a great soundtrack.
And we're talking about diss tracks at the Super Bowl. You even had Crip walking at the Super Bowl. Who would have ever thought?
You had Serena Williams crip
Serena
walking,
Williams
and that's a
Crip
deep
walking.
cut to Drake too.
Yeah, because she was with him, right? They were a
Yeah,
couple.
yep,
Damn, I don't know. It blows my mind.
Multi-level, everything he does.
So crazy.
everything. And
Yeah.
that performance, that 15 minutes had so many fucking layers. It's ridiculous. People were
Mm.
literally doing deep dive dissecting videos for a month and a half after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I even remember that. I think we're on five. Yes, five for you, Ben.
Back to Good Kid, Mad City, which is probably my favorite album so far. I went with Backseat Freestyle. Not much to say.
Yeah,
Dope beat,
yeah.
dope. Yeah, I thought that shit was money. So she came in at number five.
Another honorable mention crossed off. We are to number four, getting there. And I'm going back to last year's GNX album, and I'm going out with the first song, Whacked Out Murals. It's just an epic way to start this album, and the beat that builds, it just keeps building, and Kendrick rides it perfectly. He's got a slower flow in this one, but just how well he does it, and he brings up his Super Bowl appearance in here, and he even takes a little shot at Lil Wayne. I took it that way, and that got bonus points from me. So I moved it up one just for the Lil Wayne hate. But when I listened to this, I kept thinking of the word epic, like I felt it in my chest. It was just an epic song, like just had so much behind it. So whacked out murals, and I always love when an album starts strong. That's how every album should start. So whacked out murals number four. It was five. Fuck Little Wayne. It's four. Oh,
Oh
I,
shit!
I don't know if it was like a real
Shots
dig at
fired.
Wayne. It was
It was a
uh,
jab.
it was
yeah,
a
I mean, 'cause
jam.
it was a little punch back because Wayne was pissed off he wasn't the one who was chosen for the Super Bowl because it was New Orleans. And Kendrick was saying, "Man, when I was younger, I loved the Carter Three, and now Lil Wayne doesn't like the work I put in." It was light. It was a light heart. It wasn't nothing like a Drake jab.
No, no, but I mean,
Still a jab.
even a light jab gets love from Chris. Brad,
I,
what's your number four?
I like the uppercut, the fucking the killer. So not like
Yeah.
us. I like it when it
Ah,
strikes the chord. A minor
that's the best part of the song. That shit's funny.
and the mustard beat.
Not like us. You're number four. Yes. Raven, you're up.
I was cheering for Ben when he said backseat freestyle. That's my number four. Good Kid, Mad City. That's my favorite song on the album because it's old school rap feel. I love the beat and flow a lot, and the chorus is super catchy. I sing that shit all day in my head after I listen to that song a few times. Love the little Kendrick had a dream, Martin had a dream intro.
Yeah.
Just yeah, that's a standout song. It was like my number two for a while. When we decided to do this, I had my one and two set, but this one ended up dropping a couple.
Number four for you, Ben.
Four. I think everybody's mentioned it, but I'm on Gen X with Reincarnated. Great beat, great flow, and then like you said, Chris, like he was just kind of more aggressive on his flow. I wrote sounds more pissed than usual. His flow was a little
Yeah.
more aggressive in that. So yeah, that kind of stuck out. So number four.
I'm glad everyone else, appreciated that song too, because every time I would hear it, I would appreciate it more and more and more. So, top three. Here we are. My number three, I'm going to 2012's Good Kid, Mad City. And I'm going with the song Mad City featuring Gia, MC8. And the first part is great. It's got a bouncing beat and Kendrick rides it perfectly. And then in the middle, the beat changes and you hear Gia, Compton. MC8 comes in, right? The OG himself. It's just so cool that a newer rapper, and when I say newer, I mean like the last 15 years, would include an OG like MC8. And not only is 8 talking on it, he spits a verse. I mean, damn, it's just West Coast gangsta shit, perfectly done. So, man, Mad City, that could have been higher. It slipped a little bit, but yeah, that was my number three. Brad, you're up. Gia.
All right. Going to the same album. And I could have picked so many songs off of here. There's everyone that you guys have picked, I love lots of. This is my second favorite Kendrick album. But I really don't like it when a bitch tries to kill my vibe. And so bitch, don't kill my vibe. That's it. And it's kind of a more of a laid back track and kind of surprising that but it's the song that I always think about when I think about this album. And I also really just kind of like to say that sometimes I'm like, bitch, don't kill my vibe. So I had to pick it. I figured nobody else was gonna pick that one also, and it needed to get some love.
It was an honorable mention, and that was kind of an earworm one too. I was singing that chorus in my head too some of these days. Number three for you, Raymond.
Number three, I went with Not Like Us. It's an earworm. The whole summer that was everywhere you went. Every radio station, every store. You know what I mean? My own store at work started playing that shit every day. But it gets in your head, and it's so fucking disrespectful in so many ways that I had to respect it. If we hadn't already done the top 10 disses of all time, at least one of Kendrick's disses would have made that list. Like, and this
Hmm.
probably would have been on there because it's very disrespectful. And he used it in such a way that the entire world joined in and laughing at Drake. And it was just ridiculous.
It's really amazing how that happened. Like literally the whole world was laughing and dissing at
Everyone.
Drake. I mean, that's damn. I know he's got a lot of money and fame, but it had to kind of fucking suck being Drake in that point in time. All right, number three for you, Ben.
Back to Good Kid, Mad City. I went with the song Compton. And this doesn't really have much to do with Kendrick for me, but I felt Dre came hard as fuck on that compared to his rhyming otherwise. Like I felt he came a lot harder, so it was cool to see Dre like step it up a notch, in my opinion.
That song, I think, is one of the best examples of Dre rapping, at least top three best verses he's
Yep.
done. It's like he came to play. Okay, we are at the two, and I'm going back to 2015's To Pimp a Butterfly, and I'm going with Wesley's Theory. Good goddamn, is this some funky ass shit featuring the legendary George Clinton? And it's a faster beat with George Clinton's voice. And man, another way to start off an album. It's just a head nodding banger that I would play multiple times when I would go through this album. I'd always go back, listen to it one more time, and then let the rest of the album play. It was impossible not for me to jam out whenever this came on. You even get a breakdown where Drake comes on and talks some shit. And I don't know, this song was just so funky to me, and I love George Clinton. So it moved all the way up to number two, Wesley's Theory. Good way to start that record. Was my number two. You're up, Brad.
Yeah, that's a really good song. And that's one of the reasons I want to dive back into that album because I was like, that song, that first song is really, really good. So I'm glad somebody chose it. I'm going with it's already been mentioned, Turn the TV Off. Super catchy DJ Mustard beat. Listening to that GNX album got me so excited about doing this top 10 and really reignited my interest in Kendrick. And I put this list, well, a bigger list. I hadn't modified it down and went running today with it. And that's when I was running, like sometimes like I have to like keep all the noise out and I'm just focusing on like the music. And I was like, I changed my whole list around after I ran, thinking that's when I got rid of Control and put the Heart Part 5 on there. But that Turn the TV Off just skyrocketed up to number two because it was just gave me so much energy. It's just a really, really cool, catchy song.
Raven, you're number two.
Number two. That's actually another thing I really like about Kendrick is he does a lot of features with random ass people nobody's ever fucking heard of, like Dottie Six and that's Chucky and them, and I usually end up liking at least some of their work. But yeah, number two, I'm going to join the club and Reincarnated is my number two. The concept and story was too good not to put on here. The battle between all of his different lives and the God and the devil. That Tupac beat, just everything about it is nearly a perfect song, and his flow never falters. He rides the beat every verse perfectly, and he has this cadence. He has one of the best cadences in rap, I think, the way he can influx his voice and shit.
I'm glad everyone picked Reincarnated because I really, really like that song. So I know Reincarnated isn't your number two. You already picked it. Ben, you're up.
I went back to Pimp a Butterfly with the song I.
Yeah.
I love the beat, the vibe, and the Isley Brothers sample works so well with his flow. And I'm a big Isley Brothers fan anyway, but yes, but I mean that guitar riff's iconic, and then the way he flowed over that shit just that's a great song.
So here we are to number one. For the last time, obviously, I'm going to go to Good Kid, Mad City, 2012. And it was brought up Compton with Dr. Dre. And for the reason you said, this might be the best Dre has ever rapped, ever. You got Just Blaze on an amazing beat. It's just a great mix of West Coast gangsta vibe with straight lyricism and flow. Because even, I mean, Dre's doing compound rhymes like he's Rakim or something. It's just like, wow. And Kendrick kills it too. I just was so impressed with it. It just shot up to number one. So, Compton, my number one. You're up, Brad.
Yeah, so I went pretty obvious. People probably know which one I picked, but I went with GNX's Whacked Out Murals. Yeah, as soon as we started to do this, I was like, I got to listen to this GNX album that came out. heard that song and I was like, whoa, that's so fucking good. The beat is slow and sinister, and his whole rapping is so good. And he's so petty. Like, it's, like as far as like the jabs with Lil Wayne, and even Snoop Dogg gets a jab.
Yes.
'Cause
Yep.
apparently,
Yep.
Snoop shared that stupid tailor-made video, and he's like, something about like I think it was maybe the weed or something. But yeah, it just oh man, that song is going to be on repeat for me for a while till I get sick of it. And I don't know, like I don't know what other people think of that song. I know you picked it, Chris, but
Mhm.
like in the broad view of the world, I just know that that song got me so fired up about this and like just reignited my Kendrick passion. So I had to pick it as number one.
Raven, is that your number one?
Not. It killed me that I didn't get it on the list, but I had 5 songs from that era of Kendrick already on this list, so I didn't want to do the whole list as just GNX. I could have. It's probably somehow it made it into like my top favorite albums of all time, somewhere in that top 20 probably. Like it's such a good CD.
It's really good.
My number one is Euphoria, which was a diss song that he released as a single before the album. This is a 6.5 minute song. The first minute and a half is very slow. And I remember waking up the morning he dropped it. It was right after Drake dropped one of his tracks where he's riding around in like a black and white video. And I was like, I don't know. I shut it off after like a minute. And I was like, I think Drake won this. That's weird. And then later I let it play, and then it just cuts and those horns come in and the beat kicks up and it turns into 5.5 minutes of some of the most disrespectful, like Vaseline level disses that I have ever heard from a rapper. There's so many layers to every bar that he puts in this, talking to everything from like this ain't even a 1v1, this is a 1v20 if I gotta fight everybody that write for you. Like he has so many different types of stabs in the song. I've probably listened to it more than any other song he's done because once I listened to that whole song, it was on fucking repeat. My girl knew to just put on Euphoria when the car started if we were going somewhere together. There was a good chance that was going to be playing, and I still slip that into my playlist constantly.
That was an honorable mention because you had mentioned it, how good it was like a week ago or whatever. So I checked it out. He's
It would have
great at
probably
diss
been my
tracks.
number one favorite diss if we redid that list today. It'd probably be number one or number two. That's how much I like Euphoria.
Well, unlike that, not like us. I, I even realized that I'm probably missing half of it because I'm sure he's taking jabs that I don't know are jabs because I know nothing really about Drake. I'm sure there's all this personal stuff that's going over my head because I'm not
It
knowledgeable.
tons of
Yeah.
it in those songs.
But I was liking it even knowing that I was missing half of it. So I couldn't imagine if you know the beef well, how
Like I
great.
kind of liked Drake at first. I don't know, it was like 2005. There wasn't a lot going on in music when he dropped. So I kind of liked him at first. So I knew quite a bit about him, and then just my fiance is much younger than me, and a lot of the people I know because of where I work and shit are much younger than me. So I know a lot more about Drake than I want to know. But it came in handy when I just started listening and picking apart these disses he did.
I'm always gonna love Battle Records diss tracks. All right, round.
You didn't used to watch Degrassi or whatever he was in?
No, I've never seen an episode.
Oh yeah, he was in some. I've seen not the show, but I've heard
He was in
it
a
was like a
wheelchair or some
teenager or
shit.
something, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like
he was like in
yeah.
a wheelchair, I think.
Oh shit.
yeah, yep, yep. Yeah, I saw something online that's where he started was acting in that show, but and it
That's
seemed
because
like
that was the meme when Started from the Bottom Now We Here came out. They started posting that him in a wheelchair all over the place because that was his bottom in the suburbs of Canada.
what I got off of the little shit I saw, it seemed like a modern fucking Save the Bell or some shit.
Kelly Kapowski was fine.
One of the hottest in the era.
Love Save That.
All right, Ben, finish us off.
Well, I'm gonna be fucking lame. I'm going with fucking Be Humble off Damn. Beat is simple but bonkers, flow impeccable, earworm like a motherfucker. And I love the line, like, show me some ass with stretch marks. That shit always stuck with me.
That's
But
all.
the thing with Like even though I was never I was never a Kendrick fan, I always loved that song. So I was always a Be Humble fan. So even
Which
though I never dealt or went to check out any of his other shit, I always thought that shit was dope. So that is the most longevity with me. So I put that at number one. But that shit could change in a week.
Right, right. No, this opened my eyes that I want to do more artists that I'm not familiar with because I was so pleasantly surprised. Not that I went into it negatively, but I was like, man, this is going to be tough. I'm thinking I'm going to have to cheat. I'm going to have to pick the one from Eminem's album that he did and all these features, but I was pleasantly surprised. So, honorable mentions. First time listening, if something doesn't get brought up by anybody, I think it needs some love. We just quick shout it out. No one brought up anything from the first album, and I didn't either. But from Good Kid, Mad City, Swimming Pools, that was another one that stuck in my head. And Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. From To Pimp a Butterfly, All Right, which was a single off of there, but it's catchy. The only honorable mention from Damn I have is a song called Fear. I have one honorable mention from the Lickety Split whatever we're calling it, two-step album. It's a song called Rich Spirit. And from GNX, Man at the Garden was probably my number 12, 13. Are we missing anything?
ADHD off Section 80 is really good song. Loyalty off Damn is another one I like. If Rihanna's on a song, I'm probably gonna like it.
for me would be Peekaboo with Ask Chucky from GNX and Hey Now with Dottie Six from GNX. You said Man of the Gardens is a great song that I
Yes.
wanted to make the list.
Yep. Yeah, GNX was so damn good. So good. Well, we did Kendrick. Knocked them out. All
You
right,
guys-
have a good night, everyone. See ya.
Hey, guys.
Appreciate you.
Still a B-boy, from the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East coast to the west, B-boys worldwide, we supposed to be blessed. Still a B-boy, from the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East coast to the west, B-boys worldwide, we